It's an AI voice.
Calling to order the meeting of the Seaside Library Board. First we have routine business. Are we doing roll calls now that we're on Zoom?
We should,
Yeah,
I guess we can start having,
Okay. Sorry. Call to order, and I'll take roll. Kathleen Teeple,
present.
Eve Marks,
Present.
Megan Hughes,
present.
Tess Ratty, myself, present. And staff, Josh Mormon,
Present.
Library Director Jennifer Redding,
Present.
Seaside City Councilor Tita Montero.
Present.
Okay,
And then you just want to document that Cheryl is excused.
Oh, yeah.
oh, and Cheryl Adamczyk is absent. Okay,
And the other thing that would be routine business is any changes to the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
okay. So under routine business, we are going to have a change to the agenda. If you would add under old business, update on reconsideration process. Thank you. Any other routine business?
Vote to accept the agenda.
Do we vote to accept the change addition to the agenda?
Yes. I'll vote. Yes. We need to move.
Okay, thank you. Everyone's voted in favor of adding the old business. Can I have approval of the minutes from December 5th, 2023?
I move to approve. I second.
Okay, thank you. They've been approved and seconded. Our first report is from Josh Mormon, the Assistant Director. Josh?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful new year. We slated events at the Seaside Library. Things have changed. You may have noticed that we no longer have Teen Tuesdays, but they've been thankfully moved to Wednesday. Marion has not accepted us calling it towards Wednesday.
I like that. Tuesday.
Or Queensday. But we do have a weekly events for teens. Tomorrow is actually going to be at Seaside High School, and she's going to be running an event in conjunction with the library staff there called It's Your Library, to sort of for the students there to get a real sense for the library offerings and services at Seaside High School Library, which is great. I'll sort of talk about the events first. Yes,
We're
absolutely.
gonna add a little bit more to that. Again, Teen Tuesday has been moved to Wednesday, which is great. Part of that move is because Wednesday afternoon kids at the high school have an early release day. So that seemed to mesh
Yeah.
really well. And what we did learn is that unfortunately the library space is used most Wednesday afternoons for school business because there aren't enough spaces in the school for big groups to gather. But on the first Wednesday, the school staff do some sort of off-site wellness stuff. So that's how this all came together, that we were able to, so the first Wednesday of every month, Marion will be hosting a library program up at the high school.
Okay, I didn't know that was the monthly. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
That's very cool. We're trying that out with the rest of the school.
Yeah, that's
Love it.
great. It's a nice partnership between the public library and the school library.
Okay, yeah, okay, sorry, thank you, Josh.
No, it's fine. It's actually really good content. So my back here looking like a dum-dum next month. It looks like she's gonna go to the high school again. So getting through the rest of the teen events for the month. So January 10th is karaoke, and these next slated ones are at 3:00. On the 17th is so it's sort of award season, right? Typically happens the early part of the year. That's when a lot of things come out. So they'll be doing, can you guess the winners of various, I don't know which book award she goes off of. I know she's done stuff like this before. The 24th, they're going to be doing a craft day. And the 31st, they will be doing an apples to apples marathon game. Lots of 5 5 Wednesdays to get it kicked off. As for story times, Thursdays at 10:30. This Thursday, we're doing a slate of new books. Always good to get, classics are great. The new ones are always fun to get. And it's one of the nice things about part of my job, which is cataloging children's and YA books, is for somebody who has young kids, it's always good to see all the new books coming through. And Mary does a great job of getting lots of new content. And then on the 11th, we'll be talking about Puffin, so I'm sure all books Puffin related, which is kind of going hand in hand as well with the winter reading program with Friends of Haystack Rock. Now our son's yeah, so that's on the 18th. We'll be doing an author highlight, which Marion does from time to time. So an author highlight on the works of Emily Gravetti or Gravette. And then on the 25th. Food-related books, food. Sure, that'll be it. I kind of wonder what the craft or activity is going to be. So that's a lot of that. Also for the youth, this month on the 13th, Saturday the 13th at 11 is the monthly youth Lego Club. I believe that is from 0 to 17 years old. And then this hasn't happened at least too often since I've been here. Is an author visit. On the 30th, Megan Lally and Courtney Gould, who are YA authors, going to be here for an author visit at 4 o'clock on the 30th.
Might be in conjunction with beach books. It's right there.
That's right.
Just
That
fine.
is right. That is right. And,
Good look at that. Or two books.
there are 2 books, yeah.
Were they both from one book?
I think she-
Could they call it like teenage, young adult?
Great questions for Marion. So typically it would be like sort of your like high school age
High school,
through,
yeah.
early college into however you define. You're right, there's lots of people who read YA who aren't necessarily could be considered YA. So it's all, genre, subgenre of literature.
That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. And The Dead and the Dark by Courtney Gould.
Ooh.
So 2 authors, 2 books. And I can look up the titles and tell you more if you'd like.
Thank you for doing a little cross check.
Of course.
As far as the things that are a little bit in my realm, tomorrow is our monthly board game night here in this room. A board game night last month, we had 9 people, which included 6 new people, which was really
Oh, good.
encouraging to see. I had another sort of set of folks who came by who brought their own games and did all that. So I've got one guy who's been coming anyways, who's been bringing games. And then these 2 guys who run game events before, who were super into it. And one of their recommendations, I went out and bought. It's an awesome game. So that's encouraging.
What's the game?
It's called, what was that? Now you're like, what was that? What was
Like
that
a
game called?
forest or tree.
No, that was that one, the one that we played, but then when I asked Nathan what his favorite game was, he meant Dragon Craft, I think it's called. It's fun. So you are like in this fantasy town and you have the ability to speak and use different kinds of dragons. And these dragons can do things like make artisan coffee and cakes and make bread and all sorts of stuff.
Board game?
Yeah.
I need some of those.
And so you are able to take the different dragons are then able to have give different abilities through the shops, and you're then basically able to, most games you can go into different buckets, and this is a bucket where you basically are trying to take the rules that are established by the game. I don't know if this is interesting for the web. To sort of leverage the game to generate points, essentially. It's kind of a point accumulation game. But our kindergartner has been really into it. He keeps on wanting the 3-year-old to go to take a nap so he can play with us. Too bad. Oh, motivated kid. You're gonna take a nap, right?
Sounds complicated, but if a kindergartner can do it, maybe I will too.
I don't want to brag, our son's advanced. So scary with what he knows. Which is great, very kid, he's very smart. That's a board game. Right, our monthly in-person event on the 27th is Cheryl Gill, who wrote a book called A Very Simple Estate Planning Guide. So she's gonna be talking about the book and giving a little presentation to my, good information that lots of people could use. And I don't wanna see, I'm bound to overlook something. Was it last month and I forgot 2 different things? And Cheryl's like, what's that thing? We'll get there. I'm talking about the Teen Book Club on the 11th, Ruby Redford #1 by Lauren Child. It is Marion's baby. So if you're gonna ask me what it's about, I do not know that information off the top of my head. Yeah, my assistant over there can you. Okay, movies this month. This Saturday, we will be screening Polite Society from 2023. It is are you ready? It is a British martial arts action comedy that centers on a Pakistani family for which the older sister is getting married. The younger sister believes that it is a mistake and that the family is actually evil. And so she has plotted a kind of heist kind of way to get the older sister out of this situation. It is, everything I've read is that it is super fun, funny in a very British way, with lots of great sort of action pieces as well. Really good. Most of the library staff saw it. I've ironically not. But I went and got it in, and then a number of folks saw the trailer and I want to get that before it goes out or anything. So 3 or 4 people from the library already pre-vetted it and liked the movie. And then I don't know if you want to call this a classic, but a cult classic, 1984's Repo Man, directed by Alex Cox.
We went back and forth a lot about, can we call a movie from the 80s a
classic movie?
Yes.
Because I got into the space of I was either contextualizing the movies as classic movies or contemporary movies. I think I'm kind of moving away from that. I'm just going to give sort of for the posters, I'm more going to give them more of a little synopsis. So this is the 80s cult classic. One of Emilio Estevez's first starring roles, and with Barry Dean Stanton, and a lot of people think is perhaps one of his best roles, and it's kind of a smorgasbord of it's got some sci-fi, it's got some punk stuff, it's a little indie, it's a little this, it's a little that, lots of dark humor in it, but kind of fun. It's Dan Cawley's one of his desert island movies that if he ever was on a desert island, one would be the 5 movies he would like to be able to watch over and over again. It is on his list. So yeah, and both of these are ones we will just be enjoying the movie. Now I talk back this month, we'll be able to talk back next month with our classic movie, and we'll find out about what that is.
Shots on the
Yes.
last month for 2 movies, was it good?
Oh, yeah, we only had 2 people for the contemporary movie. That was Brian and Charles. That was the one with the Welsh inventor. Gold Diggers in 1933. We had 7 people who showed up. And the 2 talkbacks that I've had with Paul have been our most attended screening.
And what about the author event?
We had 7 people for David Campeach's.
Yeah, I wasn't in town, I'm sorry to miss that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if there's anything else. And of course, if you want to get a sneak peek, you can always go to seasidelibrary.org/movies. And we do have our slate of movies through March. Already posted. We'll get April up soon.
So for the event on the 30th, the YA, That's Not My Name is intended for 14 to 18, and The Dead in the Dark is intended for 13 to 18.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to find information about Ruby Redford.
Okay.
Well, you're up next, so you
You want me to do it?
Pause.
Yeah, I think that's everything on our own.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions of Josh? Thank you, Josh.
Yes.
And Jennifer, the library director report.
Yes, all right, I think I included this in your packet too, as always. I did not include statistics, which I did last time, which were really hard to read, and also with the year ending, with the timing of everything, gathering all of the statistics this morning was not gonna happen. So I apologize, but I will share it out when I get those. So I want to highlight that we have started on a library archives project. So in clearing out boxes and folders and all sorts of places, we've come upon all sorts of really interesting stuff. Which if I didn't already have a full-time job, I would want to be doing. I think Dan is also very interested in doing. Anyway, but we had a volunteer who was new to shelving here and new to the community, and we reached out to her and said, would you be interested in helping us kind of wrangle this archives project? And she was the perfect fit for it. And she basically has gone through and
Who is she?
her name is Jenny.
You should be able to remember.
Don't remember her last name. It's just in my brain right now.
Okay.
Sorry, Jenny, who's watching.
No.
No.
It's a name like that.
It'll be.
Just Jenny, thank you, Jenny.
And
Sutherland,
Sutherland.
might be.
I don't-
I'll double check. Don't, somebody's gonna think it's Jenny something.
That's the author.
so she has gone through and basically sorted everything.
She has a lot, right?
And yeah, put everything into some sort of category. And then the next step was sort of to determine, are these things that we want to keep? Do we need to keep? So things like old financial information from a bazillion years ago, probably not, like receipts of things. But we have some big buckets, and these, you can see them listed here: building construction project records, obviously the building, this construction, other large projects such as when we went automated, which is always a big thing. A random smattering of publicity, newspaper articles, operational records. Again, that was sort of one of those types of things. We also have a bunch of board and friends information along with photos and material. So one of the things that we were talking about was potentially getting a scanner for assisting with digitizing this information.
Yeah, especially the history.
Absolutely. And I know that, the museum is very interested in doing that. So I'm sure there's room for collaboration there along the way. And I'll be bringing regular updates, but this sort of leads me to, we have put in an application to host a Classic Works intern for the summer.
Sounds good.
And part of that person's responsibilities will be maybe assisting with that digitization, which is not an easy word to say quickly. Digitization.
You don't have a scanner?
We have scanners. We don't have
The big one.
a nice big,
They have a paper feed and
a
stuff.
paper feed, I think, probably a
Speed.
Use
Like the
paper.
museum.
So
The
we're,
museum doesn't have one.
Hmm.
Not as far as I know. The Classic Historical Society has a wonderful one.
Yeah, they do.
oh, write that down and go visit.
Oh, yeah, get to know Mac.
He's their name. Yeah, so we're hoping to have a summer intern who will help with a number of different things. It'll just be like a 20-25 hour a week position for about 6 to 8 weeks in the summer. So yeah, I think in the past we've had a Classic Works intern that there was one kind of organized through the city. And they had the opportunity of going around to all the different departments, and of course the library is the best, but so this time around, we're just having the person work here in the library. We will also, the foundation is putting on a fundraiser here in the library on February 24th. So be on the lookout for more information about that, and tickets. Would encourage you all to attend if you can. I believe it's like a murder mystery themed event in the library with snacks and beverages. So, and then one final item that I'm working on with Karen from Beach Books is to collaborate on promoting a community-wide book read for April of '24. And when we were chatting about it, she's really interested in trying to find a title that's really accessible for high school students. So that we could also maybe collaborate with the schools and have some programs that are maybe even cross-generational. I find that I think there's a lot to gain from, having young kids hanging out with older folks and, sharing stories and having common experiences. So we are looking into that. She is out of town presently, somewhere sunny, and I'm trying not to hold it against her. But yeah, so when she comes back, we'll start planning that, and there'll be more info about that. Great.
Any questions from Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer. And under old business, learning opportunities for the library board in 2024.
Yeah, so we had talked about some things coming up. The OLA, Oregon Library Association, which we held in Salem, Oregon at the end of April, that they have not yet sent out their list of sessions, but when that becomes available, I'll share it out with you. And we had also talked about the possibility of setting up a Zoom meeting, now that we can do this fun feature. Of either collaborating with the other library boards in the county, so for Warrenton and Astoria and here in Seaside, bring the boards together and have some sort of workshop, a learning workshop. And maybe it is have something like Emily from that committee to talk about First Amendment, or, we can bring in some other, someone on financial items or any sort of, we can build that out and hopefully make it a worthwhile one to come together. It's also possible that we could just host one, have the Zoom feature for folks who aren't able to attend, but ideally have maybe all of us in the same room. So
I like that.
yeah, I think there's, again, that cross-pollination I think is helpful for growth.
You laugh.
And then we did add, I failed to put this on the agenda. I knew there was something this morning, was an update on our reconsideration process. As you all are aware, we just completed the special board meeting at 2:30 today, in which the two titles that had been requested for reconsideration have been voted to remain in the collection. And there will be an official announcement by the city sometime later today.
And technically it was called a work session, not a board meeting, right?
Right,
It was a
yes,
board work session.
a board work
Correct.
session. Correct. Oh, thank you. And that,
Okay,
I believe, is full business.
any questions?
You had mentioned a few months ago about making no late penalties. What's happening with that?
Thank you for that question. That requires a number of steps. It requires an agreement among all three libraries, so Warrenton, Astoria, and Seaside, which each of those individual boards and directors need to be in agreement, and then each of those go to their respective cities and then get it approved by city council, I believe, because it would be an official change of their policies and procedures. And that is still, there's so many steps to it. It's still on my radar. It's hopefully what we will do is have each of the directors speak with their respective boards and then see if that's something that they would be open to, if fiscally they were able to make that a possibility. Because I do know that, that the number is not insignificant, but it's also not, we're not the convention center, we're not bringing in that level of money for our city, but it is something that we would need to make that proposal, make that city council.
We also talked about, remember every year when we would host the other boards in the Seaside Library, and we talked about doing it every other year. What I forgot to mention that in the minutes, it says board members also plan to meet every other year. Actually, the library board hosts that meeting and invites the other
Okay.
folks to come.
Mhm.
And have you had any feedback from that? Are they intending to be
The other, so like the
friends
friends,
and foundation?
so friends, we haven't met recently,
Okay,
so I'll need to bring it up with them. Foundation. I think we have. I had a scheduling snafu and I did not attend the last one, that foundation meeting, so.
okay, well, I'm just, it's nothing.
Well, I would like to say something about that, because the last one that we had, I was really looking forward to it. But all we did was sat around the table and say who we are and what we did. And so there was no mingling, and I felt like, well, I didn't need to go, because I didn't meet anybody, you know, and.
There weren't as many people. Yeah, there
I
weren't
was
as many
trying to
people come.
have
that usually come.
conversations, but
It
it
wasn't conducive.
wasn't conducive.
I think that it's, we talked about if it was every other year, maybe more people would come from the committee instead of just a committee representative.
And not just sitting around in a circle.
and different
It
format.
needs to be like something social, something educational, something
And
that we can all participate and interact.
Oh, yes.
And what we did in the past was try to update each
Mhm.
friends or foundation,
do.
what we've done this past year. And then meet everybody and
Right.
We did try to do that because I seem to remember I had no thoughts, so I could say whatever it was like.
I think as years went on, there was interest lost because of that.
Mhm.
So we
I
need
didn't feel like I made any connections at all.
Yeah, we need to relook at that and how we do it.
Well, and the event on the 24th will be a great
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open a foundation.
That also.
Yeah,
So. yes. Any opportunity to eat food in the library. Always a winner, so always a winner.
That's a good one.
maybe we should work in conjunction with Destiny at Cheese and we could have wine also. Just joking.
I believe there will be adult beverages at this event too.
Okay. Woo-hoo. Anything else under old business? New business, project plan for building maintenance.
I think I talk about this every time we meet, that I'm in the process of coming up with a project plan for our building maintenance. Well, I put it on new business because I'm actually meeting, we have hired someone at Public Works who is the project manager. And I have a meeting with him, I think Thursday, maybe, or this week or next week, I can't remember. So he and I are going to go through and exterior and write everything down, you know, and he's a construction, you know, project planner, management kind of guy, so he'll have those perspectives. And we're gonna put together all of the things that need to be addressed, whether it's regular maintenance or things that are in need of some help right now.
You're gonna make the list.
We're gonna make the list, we're gonna check it twice. And, we're gonna assign, you know, financials to it, so, so I think what it'll really help with, I mean, not only will it just sort of help with keeping up to date on what needs to be done for the building, our aging building, even though it still looks pretty fabulous. It will help inform my budget requests for the future. As you know, we just went through the budget request process. And without having that plan in place, I felt a little out of the, you know, out of my element of asking for, you know, an X number of dollars of like, because we might need something done, you know, to the building, which I know is gonna need to happen. So we'll be ready to go that next time around. So that's,
Which is coming up soon.
yes.
We have department head budget meetings in January.
Oh, I already had to submit mine in December, so I've already missed that window. So, or, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? We have public comment on the agenda, but I don't have any forms for public comment. Okay.
Okay.
And the next meeting is,
We have a long month this month.
This is a 5.
Six.
February 6th
Yes.
and 4 o'clock.
February 6th, 4 P.M. There we go. Is there anything else? The meeting is adjourned.
The game is called Flame Craft, not Dragon Craft, if you guys are thinking.
Okay.
Great, has anybody ever brought?
Yeah.
It's a fun game. We went to a coffee shop and they had it there.
Yeah.
and we played it.
Yeah.
So I bought it. So maybe I'll bring it.
I think that.
No, I've always loved